Hey everyone, we're back and we're going to be making more YouTube videos again. Apologies for the delay. I came back from event 1, of course, announced my retirement from racing in F1 sim racing back then, and then also just had a bit of sickness after event 1, so I wanted to clear that and also improve my video quality. So you might have seen I uploaded the Australia track guide for the first round of F1 sim racing. But I also said I was going to upload more, and this is what this video is going to be today. We're going to be doing China, Bahrain in a subsequent following video, then also Jeddah, and restarting this series and general content on this channel as the rest of the season progresses. So with that being said, let's get into the heart of the video and jump into China. So of course, round 2 of F1 Esports was at China, and what a dramatic race that was. I was even in contention to be winning the race before getting hit on the hairpin and spun around. Anyway, more on that later as we're here in the track guide. On the final corner of the lap is quite important to try and get the best momentum possible out of this apex while starting the lap. Obvious statement, I know, but that is where it becomes quite tricky to do because it's a medium speed corner, what means you need to carry good entry speed and good exit speed as well. If it's a low speed hairpin, you can really sacrifice the entry to carry good speed on the exit, but with this corner you want to take a normal racing line and just try to prioritize getting back on the power as soon as possible past this apex clipping point in 4th gear and then into 5th, opening up DRS. And very similar to Bahrain, the track surface is smoother on the inside here, just basically because it's not really rendering the bumps, and if you go into the normal part of the track it renders the bumps. So this part of the track is smoother, so this is why you see F1 Esports drivers driving along this racing line on the inside closer to the pit wall. Go to the outside, and again you want to be using a little bit of this curbing on the outside of the track, just simply as it will open up the road more and more as you progress into the corner. Avoid the inside curbing, as quite simply that will cause a big snap of oversteer and really unsettle the balance of the car. Into the apex here, you want to keep the car tight and tight all the way throughout this fast right-hander, or progresses into a slow right-hander in fact. Bring 2 wheels to this white line. You don't really want to be on the inside curbing here, as the tires start to overheat already and the car becomes a bit unstable in a best of case situations. And you really want to get back to the power between these 2 corners. You can see there's such an elevation change going into corner 2, and it really causes the car to have an unbalanced understeering effect as you go through the left-hander here. And that is going to be taken in 3rd gear, and you do not want to be taking the inside curbstone. And you just want to be running right up against the white line, get the car tight on the inside, back to the power ASAP, and then you're going to be running a tight line around the exit of it and open up the corner on the exit, and that is going to be your first sector of China completed. Coming down to start sector 2, you want to be having 2 wheels on the outside curbing and braking about 70 meters before the corner. There isn't really a distinct marker board for this corner, so yeah, I say about 70 meters, and you want to be going down into 3rd gear. There are 2 approaches to this inside curbstone. You can either commit to the red and white part of it and then take the inside, what's going to carry more initial speed into the corner but hamper your exit, or you can avoid the inside curbstone and go right up to the white line where this drain gully is on the inside, and this can mean that you have a slower entry but better exit as a result of that. So with that being said though, this is where the 2 approaches sort of align and they can be good for each other. If you find yourself braking 1 or 2 meters, maybe 5 meters too early, take the inside curbstone, and then you're making the best of a bad situation, or a less optimal situation anyway. If you find yourself absolutely nailing your braking point, then you could be taking not the inside curbstone and getting a better exit as a result of that. You can put 2 wheels on the outside curbstone here, but I choose not to, as it just gives better traction on the normal part of the track. But if you need to, it's not the end of the world. Running up the hill here, there's actually a bump in the middle of the road, just about here. So I choose to go to the inside of that bump and avoid it, and this allows me to travel a shorter distance going into the fast left-hander in a qualifying lap. So yeah, as in a qualifying lap, I want to be on this racing line on the inside, as it's going to minimize the distance going across the track But in a racing lap or in the rain, you want to be opening up the track as much as possible to minimize the tire scrub going through the corner. So like I say, on a qualifying lap, take the inside of the track here and avoid the bump, and that'll give you a few extra meters of advantage to be minimizing across the lap. Do not take the inside curbstone here, as it will unsettle the car and more than likely throw you into a spin. But you can turn in while using this outside curbstone as well, and that can help open up the track as you go through the fast right-hander. The really difficult part about this apex is quite simply, as you get to just about here, you can see there's actually a small elevation change in the curbstone as well. If we go to nose camera, you can see it. As we just have directly ahead of us, there's a small elevation change in the track, what is of course a bump. And when you get over this bump in the wrong angle with overheated tires, it can really unsettle the car and cause quite a lot of understeer in this situation. So really what you want to be doing is putting the car into this apex as tight as possible, but anticipating additional understeer coming from this bump. So you sort of want to go in slower by a few miles per hour than you originally would be thinking you can do the corner, and then normally that's about right. Especially while setting up the double left-hander, you want to be taking the outside curbstone here to open up the corner as much as possible and then throwing the car into the apex. Ideally, you avoid the inside curbstone, and that allows you to carry much better traction potential on the exit. You can nibble the outside curbing. Again, it's not optimal, but it's better than being on the power much later, providing you can avoid massive wheel spin. Flat out for the left-hander, of course, that's easy and, well, easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Down this little straight, then you're going to be arriving to braking about 70 meters before the corner as well. A really good reference is actually where this curb doubles up on the right-hand side tire. Where the curb actually becomes wider is where a really good braking reference is for this left-hander, and this is really on a qualifying lap quite a difficult and technical corner, because you just come out of a load of high-speed corners that you have quite a lot of downforce on, and then all of a sudden you have overheated tires and you're arriving to some of the slowest corners on the track and the most traction dependent corner on the track as well. Ideally, what you want to be doing is having two wheels just over the white line on the inside here, as if you take too much of the curbstone here, it can unsettle the car. As you see, basically the higher up on the curbing you get, the higher aggression and angles you get from the curbstone, and this can be unsettling the car as you go through here. Keep the car to the middle of the road in third gear, and then you're able to use the inside white line again, avoid the inside curbstone, and then on the exit get the car as straight as possible, as early as possible, and use the traction from the car to keep it as tight as you go through the banking. Onto the back straight here now, you can see going down the straight, I keep the car to the middle of the road quite simply to avoid the bumps. There's quite a bit of bumps on the left and right hand side of the road, so keeping the car to the middle of the track is a really optimal way to take the straight while minimizing the bumps, and of course bumps will cause friction and friction will slow you down as you go down the straight as well. So just keep the car to the middle as long as you can. Then at the 100-meter board, actually you can brake just slightly after the 100-meter board if you're feeling brave and you're really confident on the brake, but the baseline is 100 meters, and then if you're feeling really brave you can brake about 90 meters before the corner and you'll be going down into third gear. And again, do not take the inside curbstone here, as it will hinder your exit potential too much from this corner, and then you'll be in third gear on the exit here. Don't take the exit curbing, but keep the car as straight as possible and point the car to the outside of the road, providing so you can get on the power sooner and have a flatter car potential and a better grip potential to get back to full power ASAP. One of the most difficult corners on the track, really unassuming, to be honest. It's really a corner that is easy to be caught by surprise about how much lap time you can gain here. Just after the 50-meter board, tap the brake, and now you're going to be going over this inside curbstone, and really the perfect line is to get two wheels on the inside of this yellow part of the curbing, but it's so precise here, it's so delicate, and it's so easy to make a mistake. If you get it absolutely nailed, you'll go two wheels on the inside of the curbing, and you can see we literally glide over the curb like nothing was even there. As we go a bit further on the inside though, and this is where the difficult part is, if we go even half a tire width further, you can see the car is actually bottoming out over the top of the top of the yellow curb, and we get a track limit invalidation. So you have to be literally perfect on this corner to get it nailed and gain the lap time. Otherwise, a tyre width too tight, a tyre width too wide, and you can be losing upwards of a tenth of potential. A safe option is to only put 2 wheels on the inside curbing, but like I say, you could be losing a tenth, but it is consistent, so it can give you a good baseline to work with. Now, on the exit, 2 wheels on the outside curbing, bring it off as soon as possible, open up DRS for the run for line, keep the car to the inside, both on a qualifying and racing lap, so then you can exploit using the inside of the pit wall here to maximise your speed potential down the straight. So now getting to a full speed lap here in China, you can see opening up the corner, back to full power at the apex on the inside. Use the road on the inside to help us gain more speed, minimise friction down the straight. Turn 1 is just a lift. Do not even bother touching the brake pedal and just fight the rear if you need to. Again, bring the car to the white line on the inside and hug this inside curbstone back to the power, smooth as possible, and then opening up the road on the exit. Use the exit or the outside curbing here just after the 100 meter board, about 70 before the corner, and you can see was able to get that nicely done on the inside and didn't have to take the inside curbing. Keep the car tight, avoid the bumps, and now you can see easily flat out for the left-hander, just lifting the throttle down 1 gear. You can see anticipating the bump, and now we're in a good racing line for the left-hander as well. Back to the power, easy to lose the traction there, like I mentioned earlier. Where the curb extends on the right hand side down into 3rd gear, you can see just taking a little bit of the inside curbing and it unsettled the car. You can see again just fighting the rear of the exit, and now keeping the car nice and tight as we approach back to the back straight, opening DRS of course in 100 meters time, but keeping the car to the middle of the road to minimize the bumps going down the back straight. 100 meter board, 90 if we're feeling brave. You can see we just brake at the 100, get the car slowed down, do not take the inside curbstone. You see we point the car straight on the exit, and now committing to the final apex of the lap here in China, and was able not to get it perfect. You can see actually we ran a little bit wide, and that is how much time loss it can cost you in those situations. Jumping into sort of a setup, sort of advice, because of course this is just time trial setup that I've taken. Of course I can't show the actual F1 esports setups that we use, but yeah, so just taking the time trial setup, and to be honest, it's a pretty good setup overall. But as you can see, the rear was already a little bit unstable, so instantly what I would advise is putting the off-road diff to 30. Then also the ride height is pretty good because it helps you avoid the bumps. If you do want a bit more turn in, I would just put that down to like 21. Additionally, I would also just think about bringing that rear wing angle up to equal and have the front and rear wing as the same amount, just to help bring that traction back in the car, especially once the tires start overheating in a qualifying lap. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to making more YouTube videos, hopefully for you to enjoy at home. Ciao, ciao. Speak to you later. Grazie, bye bye.